Good morning, beautiful people. I hope you all are thriving, not just surviving. Today, we have a really interesting story that is still very much unfolding, though I truly kind of don't know what to think. And we're going to be getting into all of that here. Republican allegedly had an affair with an aide who apparently set herself on fire. I saw this when looking through and researching this morning for today's live stream, and I was like, what? So I've been diving into this story for the last 2 hours, looking into details, trying to uncover information, evidence, motives, and there's been some mixed messaging, I think. At least I feel that way. You can disagree with me. And this is a really wild story. I have more questions than answers I'm going to be giving you. So today's live stream is going to be quite interesting because this story I think it's going to become a bigger thing in the next 24, 48 hours. Because people are going to be talking about what they think actually happened. And I'm really interested to see what actually occurs. So, I don't see anyone in here just yet, but, or maybe I have it on the chat unfiltered. I see one person. Is that me? Maybe that's me. So, usually, for those people who've clicked on this live stream after it's ended, guess what? You're secretly my favorite because not a lot of people apparently watch the live streams after they're posted. So that is really, really interesting. But we're going to be breaking all of this down here. I appreciate every single one of you. Who knows, maybe this might be a false start, but nevertheless, we're going to get right into it. If you just scrolled into this live stream, please comment yes to show that you are here because currently it doesn't look like we have anyone that has jumped in here. Sometimes the live streams take a minute to officially boot up. So if you just jumped in here, comment yes to show you are here. What do you all think about this? Before I even read into the story, before I cover anything, what do y'all think? A Republican allegedly had an affair with an aide who set herself on fire. What do you all think happened? Did you all hear about this at all? I'm not seeing any comments. I see 14 people in here. You know what? I'm just going to go right into it. If no one wants to talk, that's fine. I'll talk for you. All right. Here we go. Oh, that was a bad tongue pop. Hold on. Good morning, beautiful people. Someone just said, comment. Love that. All right. So this story grabbed my attention right off the bat when I was looking into news information this morning, and I gotta tell you, I've been looking into this story for the past 2 hours, and it's crazy. I have more questions than answers I'm going to be able to provide you. That all being said, let me get into this here. Republican allegedly had an affair with an aide who ended up setting herself on fire. You are not misreading that. Set herself on fire. Who sets themselves on fire these days? Representative Tony Gonzalez, a Republican of Texas's 23rd Congressional District, allegedly had an affair with an aide who took her own life by setting herself on fire, according to a new report. Regina Ann Santos Aviles was 35 years old when she covered herself in gasoline outside her home and died by self-immolation in September of 2025. A former Gonzalez staffer told Express News that her battle with depression began after her husband discovered text messages where she admitted to having an affair with Gonzalez. Okay, my first immediate question when I read this was, you're lighting yourself on fire outside your own home? What? Why are you doing it outside of your home? out of, if anything. Like, if you are doing that in a way to, it's usually you would do something, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but wouldn't that be for someone else to see? You know, like, that's kind of a statement if you really wanted to make that. I just don't understand where that's coming from. And this is all according to, apparently she was depressed. That's what the staffers say. So continuing on, the staffer claimed the relationship between Gonzalez, a Republican representing Texas's 23rd congressional district, and Santos Aviles, who was a former staffer, became known to some members of the congressman's staff in 2024. Santos Aviles' husband's attorney, Bobby Barbera, said the affair was not a secret amongst the staff. It's common knowledge, he told Express News. The staff was clearly aware that this was occurring. In text messages obtained and verified by Express News, Gonzalez told the former staffer that she was having an affair with our boss in April of 2024. The staffer, who resigned from Gonzalez's office in January of this year, claimed that Santos Aviles called him crying after her husband, Adrian Aviles, discovered the relationship through text messages and later texted a group of Gonzalez staffers exposing the affair. It just gets even crazier. So, hold on just a second. The staffer claimed that after the event, Gonzalez canceled meetings set up by Santos Aviles, and Santos Aviles no longer accompanied the congressman on visits to Uvalde. Santos Aviles became increasingly distressed, according to the former staffer. He claimed she told him she went on antidepressants in the summer of 2025 and began to miss work frequently. She talked about Tony every day. She went from number one employee in the office to nothing. And Gonzalez did not respond to the outlet's request for comment. In November of last year, the congressman claimed in an interview that rumors are completely untruthful surrounding the circumstances of Santos Aviles' death, called her passing a very tragic situation. Apparently, according to local authorities, there's no evidence of foul play in Santos Aviles' death. And this is a picture of her. What do you all think so far? Because this story only gets crazier. What do you all think? Here's the thing, and you can disagree with my take here. I have way more questions after reading all of that than I do answers. Because here's the thing. You know what? Before I even go on, let me just give you some more information. If you're enjoying the live, please make sure to send some likes. How many people got in here? 34? Okay. And all of this being said, you have Tony Gonzalez is the Republican representative for Texas's 23rd congressional district. This district is very, very big. It's a very big district. It covers a lot of Western Texas. This is an area that it's not very population dense, and you do have communities, particularly along the border. What's also interesting is when you look at it, and I broke it down by partisan leaning for the precincts, which make up the district, you can see that a good chunk of them also lean blue, especially closer towards the border. Some of them are red, of course, but a good chunk of them are also blue. So it's very likely that this could be a flip district in some capacity. I also want to point out Tony Gonzalez. He has 6 children. 6. And he's having an affair with his staffer. Like, you're having an affair with your staffer. You have 6 kids. Yet this is the same guy who claims to be very family values. Family values. Family values. unless you are in an open polyamorous relationship or an open relationship, I don't want to hear you try to claim that your family values if you cheat on your loved one. Especially if you have kids. Oh my God. Especially if you have kids. The first thing that this fucker has the audacity to put husband as his first thing in his ex profile. Still, I took the screenshot this morning. So I wanted to get to some people's comments regarding this because it gets really crazy. One of the first comments that I saw was this family values one, but then I saw this. Regina lit up every room she entered. She carried herself with grace and confidence that inspired those around her. And this person was like, given the circumstances of her death, doesn't it seem odd to say that she lit up the room, every room that she entered? People don't just set themselves on fire. Because setting yourself on fire is a super common method for unalivement amongst women. Not. He unalived her. No way she set herself on fire for him. So a lot of people are not buying this story. Also, it's worth pointing out that he represents Uvalde, Western Texas, where Uvalde is. And of course, Uvalde police are blocking the release of 911 call, video, and records. It seemed too suspicious. Also, she did what now? Lit herself on fire? How stupid are we supposed to be here? This person said, I'm so sick of Republicans and their family values. Diving into this a little bit more, apparently Gonzalez is married and has 6 children. He is facing 3 challengers from Republicans in the primary on March 4th, and 4 Democrats are competing for the nomination to challenge him. What's also interesting is the couple had been together, meaning Santa Civiles and her husband, the staffer who apparently lit herself on fire, her and her husband were together, married for 7 years, but together for 21 years. At the time of Santos Aviles' death, they had been separated for a couple months and were sharing parenting responsibilities for their 8-year-old son. Quote, I know marriages have their seasons, relationships have their seasons. There are good times, there are bad times. Estrangement is a painful chapter in life, he said. I've come to believe that love, even when complicated, is endless. So I don't understand if this is Santos Aviles' husband saying this, or if this is Gonzalez saying this. But what immediately caught my eye was, okay, from the first thing that I read, it seemed that when Santos Aviles' husband found out, they were in a panic. Like, the staffer for Tony Gonzalez said that Santos Aviles called her husband basically crying after the discovered relationship. And I'm like, wait a minute. Claims Santos Aviles called him crying after her husband discovered the relationship. Called Gonzalez. So why are you going to call Gonzalez about your husband finding out about a relationship if you've already separated and you're co-sharing parenting responsibilities? I guess you're being separated doesn't necessarily mean that you're not together, but I don't know, that seems kind of strange to me. All of this being said, Gonzalez did not even attend the funeral. Explains why Trump finally endorsed him. It's fair to ask is it fair to ask if this was an unalivement, a personal afflicted unalivement, or not, given the depths politicians will go to silence people? Investigate the death openly to prove it's not a homicide. And what's also interesting is the mom is saying that I don't think it has any merit. Like, the mom is even saying that this story is fishy. Like, this this whole situation is strange. A spokesperson for Gonzalez, of course, said that it was truly sickening to see political bottom feeders distort the circumstances around her passing. I don't see any political bottom feeders doing that. Now, her mom Nora claims that this, of course, was completely false, saying that I don't think that my daughter lit herself on fire. It doesn't have any merit. Tony Gonzalez remains laser focused on delivering historic achievements for Texas, according to one of his spokespeople. Emergency services were, of course, dispatched to the area, and what was interesting was the mom said when she arrived, she found her daughter outside and burned, but said that she was still conscious. The last thing that she said was, quote, "I don't want to die." And they told her, "We will do our best to make sure you get taken care of." So I don't get it. I don't get it. There's a lot of questions I have about this. Why don't we have very many people in here today? I wonder if my live has been flagged in some capacity. What do you all think? I just gave you a quick little rundown. What do you all think? I'm going to be reading your comments here because I want to actually know what is on your mind. Do you suspect foul play? Do you trust the police in this? Do you think that it's entirely possible? I'm new here. We're going to be doing a summary here in about 5 minutes of the story. What do you all think? Also, hello, Kool-Aid Sippa. Oh, your profile's a kitty. I love that. She didn't do that to herself. Case closed. It does happen. People are crazy. I think Texas and corruption are best friends, and Uvalde is particularly sus. Yeah, let me stop asking. I think that's a very, very natural thing to probably be feeling. There's something about this that seems really fishy to me. Is this channel right-leaning or left-leaning? Well, how about you listen and then you can decide? Here's the thing. I obviously lean very strong one way. But it's also important because I just try to give you information to give you the tools to think critically on your own. So, it's important to, when you're looking for sources of information, just try to look for the pure information. You can disagree with my opinion. That's fine. Like, if you and I are looking at the same piece of data, science, statistics, facts, because that's not up for debate, that's just objective, and we have two different interpretations of what we think needs to happen, cool. Yeah, this channel is facts and information leaning. How many? We got 31 in here. Why is it so low today, y'all? Why is it so low today? Maybe because I'm not covering I'm not covering the latest drama between with Trump and everything. Regardless, let me give you all just another breakdown of this. Funny username though, LOL. Who mine? Scott Johnson. It's a pretty normal username. By the way, really quickly, before we go on, if you're a quiet listener and you enjoy the live streams while you're getting ready in the morning, or you're getting the kids' lunches ready for school, or you're doing some house chores, maybe you're on the way to work. If you're someone who's a quiet listener, then just type yes. I just want to see if there are people in here. If you're that person that clicks on this, watches the live streams, or listens to it, but you never comment, I'm asking for you to just quickly reveal yourself and be like, I'm here, or just type your favorite emoji or something like that. Because sometimes it actually helps me know that I'm not just talking to like a whole bunch of bots, because sometimes there will be bots that scroll in here. I see a couple people. Okay, cool. Good morning, Anthony, and good morning, Jay Harrison. How's it going? Yeah, I love you. Stop asking is a really, really cute username. So, okay, let me just break this down again here. All right, we got 33 in here. Y'all are awesome. All right, here we go. Good morning, beautiful people. I hope you all are thriving, not just surviving. This story came across my newsfeed this morning, and I gotta say, I have a lot more questions than I do answers. But let me give you a quick rundown and summary here, because this is an evolving situation that we're probably gonna be hearing more about. A Republican allegedly had an affair with an aide who set herself on fire, according to a report. Setting yourself on fire. Now, I guess that's something you would see in a Netflix or Hulu original production of some kind, not reality. But Representative Tony Gonzalez, a Republican from Texas's 23rd Congressional District, allegedly had an affair with an aide who took her own life by setting herself on fire, according to a new report. Regina Ann Santos Aviles was 35 years old when she covered herself in gasoline outside her own home and died by self-immolation in September of 2025. A former Gonzalez staffer told Express News that her battle with depression began after her husband discovered text messages where she admitted to having an affair with Gonzalez. Interesting. The staffer claimed the relationship between Gonzalez, a Republican representing Texas's 23rd Congressional District, and Santos Aviles became known to some members of the congressman's staff in 2024. Santos Aviles' husband's attorney, Bobby Barrera, said the affair was, quote, not a secret among the staff. It's common knowledge, he told Express News. The staff was clearly aware of this event occurring. In text messages obtained and verified by Express News, Gonzalez told the former staffer she was having, quote, an affair with our boss in April of 2024. The staffer, who was sharing all of this, resigned from Gonzalez's office this January, claimed that Santos Aviles called him, Gonzalez, crying after her husband, Adrian Aviles, discovered the relationship through text messages and later texted a group of Gonzalez staffers exposing the affair. Little did they know that was already a common thing that was known around the office. The staffer claimed that after the event, Gonzalez canceled meetings set up by Santos Aviles, and Santos Aviles no longer accompanied the congressman on Uvalde visits, because that's where this congressperson represents, is West Texas area, including Uvalde. Santos Aviles became increasingly distressed, according to the former staffer. He claimed she told him that she went on antidepressants in the summer of 2025 and began to miss work frequently. She talked about Tony every day, he said. She went from number one employee in the office to nothing. That's according to Tony Gonzalez and his staff. Pause here. I don't know if I'm buying what we're supposed to be believing. That's just me personally. Looking into this, I think that Tony Gonzalez and his staff are hiding stuff, because you're speaking a lot for her, claiming she went on antidepressants, began to miss work frequently, apparently called Gonzalez crying about the affair. I think it's plausible, but it seems a little bit too clean. You know, it seems too clean and suspicious. But that's just me. She talked about Tony every day, and she went from number one employee in the office to nothing. The former staffer then said that he told Gonzalez's district director in June that he was worried about Santos Aviles. He claimed that a month before her death, Santos Aviles attempted a personal unalivement, though Express News did not confirm that event. Gonzalez did not respond to the outlet's request for comment. In November of last year, the congressman claimed in an interview that the, quote, rumors are completely untruthful surrounding the circumstances of Santos Aviles' death and called her passing a very tragic situation. There was no evidence of foul play in Santos Aviles' death, according to the authorities. I really don't know what to think. This is her. This is her. This is the woman who apparently set herself on fire outside of her own home after this affair was exposed. I want to note that Tony Gonzalez represents Texas's 23rd congressional district. This is a very big district right here. This is also the 2026 map, so this is current. And this map also, it's interesting because there are many precincts that also lean blue along the border. So this is a little bit more of a swing district. Tony Gonzalez, after all of this, also, when I was looking into this, he has 6 children. A wife and 6 children. Yet you claim to be a Republican of family values. You have 6 children. He has the audacity to also put husband as the first thing in his ex profile. That's quite a thing to put in there after it's been exposed that you've had an affair. I was going through and looking for people's thoughts among the story, and there are a lot of people that don't seem to believe the what the authorities are trying to tell us what happened. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm not here to tell you what to think at all. Now, didn't you know that he's a family values guy? Also, most people don't set themselves on fire. He unalived her. No way she set herself on fire for him. Because setting yourself on fire is a super common method of personal unalivement for women, not people who are like, oh no, she was murdered. Uvalde police are blocking the release of 911 call, video, and records. Now, this was back in 2025. I can't verify if this is true or not. Just being completely frank. She was what now? Lit herself on fire? How stupid are we supposed to be here? So, all of this being said, I truly don't know what to think about it. It seems too clean to me. It seems very suspicious. It seems very suspicious. If you wanted to do that kind of thing, if you wanted to unalive yourself, which don't, why would you douse yourself in gasoline and set yourself on fire? Unless you wanted to make a statement to someone. Not that that's something you should do at all, but she did this outside her own home. Who is she trying to, what was she trying to prove? If you were in distress, why would you do that versus something else instead? This is the thing. People who attempt don't want to go through a tremendous amount of pain, right? I don't get it. So, yes, mentioned that twice. LOL. I want to read some of your comments just so that, let's see. And self-immolation is almost never personal. It's political. It's a demonstration, a protest, a way to bring to an issue. She was cold. I don't know how or what to think about this. So, yeah, it's really suspicious. Also, after all of this, Gonzalez did not even attend the funeral. So here's the timeline. Here's the timeline. Gonzalez married, has 7 or 6 kids and a wife. His staffer, Santos Aviles, has a husband, been together with him for 21 years, and been married for 7. At the time was separated and co-parenting, sharing responsibilities for their 8-year-old son. The affair got exposed in some capacity, and Santos Aviles' husband found out. Even though they were separated, apparently Santos Aviles called her husband, and apparently he was upset about it, and Santos Aviles spiraled. Gonzalez immediately cut her off. As she stopped being a part of the office, and Gonzalez canceled meetings set up by Santos Aviles, no longer accompanying the congressman on Uvalde visits. And apparently this drove her insane, went on antidepressants, began to miss work. So that's the part that I think gets me the most, actually. Is, okay, so this affair gets exposed. The affair gets exposed, and then she doesn't immediately get terminated. But then it seems like he just completely discards her, throws her aside, claims, oh, she's started missing work. It seems way too convenient. It seems way too convenient. I'm looking at this and I'm like, there seems to be some, like, I don't want to say that I think Gonzalez has a motive, but he seems like he has some interest of some kind in a motive. And I don't know how I feel about accepting the story that's been put out there. Now, of course, here's the thing. If you're going to believe something, you need to have evidence. You need to have proof. So I don't believe in an alternative form of events or anything like that, but I'm looking at this and I'm like, I have way more questions about it, Good guy activism. Hello, how's it going? Have you heard of this story, good guy activism? So I want to know a little bit more about any possible motives. But as I said earlier, it seems very strange because the mom, when she arrived on the scene after the 911 call, apparently the mom arrived on the scene and was like, yeah, this doesn't add up. This doesn't have any merit. This doesn't have any merit. And the mom leaned down to comfort her daughter, and apparently Santos Aviles' last words, according to the mom, was, I don't want to die. If you want to attempt personal unalivement, that's like your desire. So the fact that that was what was said as the last words was really weird to me. We're being asked to accept that this was all Santos Aviles basically becoming super upset and deciding to unalive herself. But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, if she's separated from her husband, but apparently husband found out, but she got so upset that Gonzalez cut her off and is crying about it, like going insane over it, I'm thinking there must have been something else. I'm wondering if somehow maybe she was gonna be with child. And you had what's his face? Gonzalez possibly going to extra measures to prevent that story from happening because he's married and has 6 kids. What story? Yeah, a staffer who apparently had an affair with a Texas politician set herself on fire. Yeah. And this kind of didn't get as much traction when it initially came out in November of 2024. Or no, not November of 2024, sorry. November of 2025. Because I think that it didn't have... There were just a lot of stuff happening. But now I'm wondering if it's going to get a lot more traction here. So, reading other people's comments, and then I'm going to do one more quick summary and then I have to go. There were a lot of people who were like, yeah, I don't buy it. How is doused in gasoline and no foul play in the same sentence? How is that possible? The authorities are saying that no foul play was expected. But dousing yourself in gasoline, yeah. No foul play, that doesn't sound probable to me at all. This is like claiming someone stabbed themselves in the back 37 times, then put the knife in the dishwasher with every other knife in the house before going into the bathroom to take a nap in the shower. That's funny. How in the world are you going to say that she was doused in gas and then set on fire, but no foul play is suspected? Make it make sense. The police department that endorsed Gonzalez is the one that's saying that there's no foul play. Definitely nothing to see here. Ah, yes, self-immolation, classic unalivement method, known for its quick and painless end. Yeah. This is the same Uvalde police also requested the Texas State Attorney General permanently seal all records of the case with Uvalde. How strange. Who would suspect foul play in such a case? People douse themselves in gasoline in their backyards and set themselves on fire constantly. So, what was also interesting was after all of this apparently became public knowledge in November of 2025, Donald Trump still endorsed Gonzalez. So, Donald Trump still endorsed him. This was back in December 18th of last year. So, not long ago. So, Trump is admitting to endorse, it's not surprising at all, a guy who claims that he's family values but cheated on his wife. You can be family values if those family values means dehumanizing other people, whether that's trans people or trying to somehow dehumanize LGBTQ people, or fearmonger about people who speak Spanish or who might be undocumented. Oh my God. But not family values that, oh yeah, that doesn't mean if you cheat on your wife, then, you know, you've broken some sort of covenant of some kind. So, I don't know what to think. And looking at this, I wonder if there's even going to be full investigations into her death. The police seem like they want to just wash their hands of it. I'm really curious at what people who deal with, like, trauma therapists, people who talk with folks battling those emotions. I would love to see some experts that talk with those kinds of people. I want to see what they would have to say about whether this is something that someone being depressed would do. Because this seems very improbable. That's the thing. This is possible, but it seems improbable. It doesn't seem likely. I never set myself on fire for anything or anyone. Good, don't. Don't ever do that. If she was poorly medicated, she might have done it to end her career. I mean, it's possible. Gotta love the hypocrisy. 6 kids, affair with a staffer, family values. Yep, being MAGA checks out. So everything about this story is just a big giant question mark to me. And I don't know. I don't want to be someone that ventures into conspiracy theory territory because that doesn't help. That doesn't do anything. Conspiracy theorists they just have a desire for an alternative truth other than objective reality of what we know. There's a difference between conspiracy and just genuinely asking questions, following up on things that don't seem to add up. But I want to know a little bit more because it seems too tidy and clean to warrant my trust. Let me take a sip of tea and then I will officially do a recap and then I gotta go because I got to get to work. I appreciate every single one of you. I know this live hasn't been the most lively today, but I appreciate all of you and I really want to know what you think. I really want to know what you think in the comments. Today, out of all days, I'm actually really interested to see what people's feedback is. So please share what you're thinking. If you're also confused like me, okay, here's the thing. If you are also in the same boat as me and you say, I don't know what to think, literally type that. I don't know if I'm the only one feeling these exact same things. If you're feeling the exact same way as me, responding to this story, then type the word same. If you are feeling the exact same way as I am responding to this story, just type the word same in the comments. Because sometimes I always want to gauge if I'm being relatable or if somehow I'm completely off base. I'm feeling doubt about the official narrative. Yeah, me too. And now there's a difference between being suspicious about it. There's a difference between being suspicious about it and then going full conspiracy theory. We don't want to do that. That's not helpful. I have way more questions for follow-up, Anthony Wayne says same, yeah. All right, let me officially do a recap here and then we will proceed. Okay. It's so obvious. What's so obvious, Earthflower? What's so obvious? Is it obvious that she obviously did this to herself and that was the motive, or obvious as in that there was nefarious intentions for a different narrative crafted to cover it up? I don't know what you mean by it. It's so obvious. Be more specific, please. Please, pretty please. Where'd my music go? My music always gets so quiet. All right, let's officially get into a recap here. I'm probably going to clip this and make this the video that I will put in a short or some sort of video on my page. So, forgive me if I seem a little bit robotic in the next part here. So here we go. Good morning, beautiful people. This is a crazy story, and let's just get right into it here. Republican allegedly had an affair with an aide who set herself on fire, according to a report. Who sets themselves on fire these days? What in the world? So, crap, I just totally messed that up. I'm funny, please clap. So, Representative Tony Gonzalez, a Republican congressman of Texas's 23rd Congressional District, allegedly had an affair with an aide who took her own life by setting herself on fire, according to a new report. Regina Ann Santos Aviles was 35 years old when she covered herself in gasoline outside her home and died by self-immolation in September of 2025. A former Gonzalez staffer told Express News that her battle with depression began after her husband discovered the text messages where she admitted to having an affair with Gonzalez. Interesting. The staffer claimed the relationship between Gonzalez, a Republican representing Texas's 23rd Congressional District, and Santos Aviles became known to some members of Congress. Words. I'm going to start that over. Hold on. The staffer claimed the relationship between Gonzalez and Santos Aviles became known to some members of the congressman's staff in 2024. Santos Aviles' husband's attorney, Bobby Barrera, said the affair was, quote, not a secret amongst the staff. So it wasn't something that, was hidden even from staff members, which is interesting. It's common knowledge, he told Express News. The staff was clearly aware this event was happening. So the only person that didn't know that this was happening was, of course, Santos Aviles' husband and Tony Gonzalez's wife. So in text messages obtained and verified by Express News, Gonzalez told the former staffer she was having an affair with our boss in April of 2024. The staffer, who resigned from Gonzalez's office in January of this year, claimed Santos Aviles called him crying after her husband, Adrian, discovered the relationship through text messages and later texted a group of Gonzalez staffers exposing the affair. So Gonzalez staffers already knew of the affair going on, but somehow Santos Aviles, it seemed that Santos Aviles' husband, Adrian, found out about the affair, and I don't know if he called the staffer or the staffer called him, but she was apparently upset. But it didn't say that he was upset. So I don't know what to think about that. Maybe I'm missing something. The staffer claimed the relationship between... Oh, I already read that part. Hold on. Geez, I'm getting my graphics mixed up here. The staffer claimed that after that event, Gonzalez canceled meetings set up by Santos Aviles, and Santos Aviles no longer accompanied the congressman on visits to Uvalde and the district. Santos Aviles became increasingly distressed, according to the former staffer, that now has quit, no longer there. He claimed that she told him she went on antidepressants in the summer of 2025 and began to miss work frequently. So this is according to Gonzalez's staff. Oh, she was depressed. She went on antidepressants, began to miss work frequently. How are you missing work frequently if you're not accompanying the congressman? Well, hold on. It was like she wasn't welcome to accompany the congressman on visits. And then not being welcome, okay, if you're not welcome, then I don't understand. You can't gatekeep and say that you're no longer able to accompany people on visits and then claim that you're missing work. Unless your responsibilities are outside of accompanying the congressman, which is possible. But it just seems like adding those two things together, it seems like a setup. The way that it's framed here, it just seems too convenient. She talked about Tony every day, she said. She went from number one employee in the office to nothing. Now that could be motive for personal unalivement, being super, super depressed about it, sure. But that's according to, again, Gonzalez's staffers. Gonzalez's office did not respond to the outlet's request for comment. In November of last year, the congressman claimed in an interview that, quote, rumors are completely untruthful surrounding the circumstances of Santos Aviles' death and calling her passing, quote, a very tragic situation. There is no evidence of foul play in Santos Aviles' death, according to the authorities. So I don't truly know what to think here. This is a picture of her. Very, very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. And Tony Gonzalez, of course, having this affair, has 6 kids. And has the audacity still to put husband as the first thing in his X profile. After having this affair, he's like, I'm a husband. Well, unless you're in an open relationship, then that you're no husband for cheating on your wife. Sorry, you just aren't. Unless you're in an open consensual relationship, which I don't think that he is. This wouldn't be a story of an affair if he was. Yeah, when I was looking through, 6 kids. And the police are expecting us to then accept this story of she doused herself on fire, personal unalivement from being in pain, no longer accompanied the congressman to visits to the district. She was on antidepressants. I don't know if dying by personal unalivement, by lighting yourself on fire, is something I've never heard of. Something I've never heard of. People who struggle with those kinds of thoughts usually want to do it real quick as to not linger on the pain, right? Also, it's funny that this is the same guy that says that he's family values, fighting for family values. Fighting for family values. Yeah, sure. A guy who fights for family values, like, I guess, keeping transgender individuals out of women's sports. Oh my God. Sorry, but I think family values means you don't cheat on your wife and have 6 kids. Stop trying to claim that demonizing a group of people like trans folk are somehow that's family values. No, family values is when you protect and care for your loved ones and provide for them, not demonizing another group and pretending like that's some way of you being a man. And this goes for all Republicans. For all these people that are like, oh, I'm fighting for family values. Really? You're fighting for family values while you have 3 side pieces, but then 2 kids that you ignore and neglect? Like, just putting that out there. Also, a lot of people were not buying this narrative, this story here. Most people don't set themselves on fire. He unalived her. No way she set herself on fire for him. Because setting yourself on fire is a common method of personal unalivement by women. No, it was murder. Uvalde police are blocking the release of 911 calls, videos, and records. She what now? Lit herself on fire? How stupid are we supposed to be here? Gonzalez is married, has 6 kids, and I don't see of any statements by the wife or the kids about any of this. What's also interesting is Santos Aviles and her husband had been together for 21 years, married for 7. At the time that all of this happened, Santos Aviles had been separated from her husband for a couple months. Not divorced, but separated. And they were sharing co-parenting responsibilities for their 8-year-old son. Gonzalez didn't ultimately even attend the funeral, which I find disgusting. I find disgusting that you didn't even attend the funeral. Explains why Trump finally endorsed him, which Trump did endorse him, and this is after this story has come out. Is it fair to ask if this was personal unalivement or not, given the depths politicians will go to silence people? And that's another thing. You might say, oh, this seems too convenient. Well, the mother seems to think so. The mother is saying, yeah, I don't think this has any merit. I don't think this has any merit. If the mom is suspicious about her own child's death, then something's up. Something's up. Her mom, Nora, called the claims completely false, telling the New York Post, I don't think it has any merit. Now, of course, Gonzalez, his staff, they're like, oh, any person that is seeking to distort the information are political bottom feeders, distorting the circumstances around her passing. It's truly sickening. Meanwhile, the congressman is laser focused on delivering historic achievements for Texas and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't, it seems too clean. It seems too clean and suspicious. Also, the mom is saying the last thing that she heard her daughter say when she arrived on the scene when 911 was dispatched was, "I don't want to die." That's not something that someone who attempts would say. So I'm really confused about this whole situation. And there's a lot of people that are also being like, this doesn't seem to add up. And of course, Donald Trump ended up endorsing him still, even after the story became public. So that is the story that I wanted to report on today. I don't know what... I'm truly kind of gagged. I don't really know what to think. And I'm not as eloquent as normal because I just have so many questions. To me, this seems too convenient. It seems too convenient. What I think is very entirely possible, I don't believe it, but I think it's entirely possible that Tony Gonzalez was finding a way to get her out of the way. That's me personally. I don't have any evidence necessarily to suggest that. I think that's very likely. I don't believe that that's the actual case, but I think that's very likely. The timeline of events of them being together, the staff all knowing, like Tony Gonzalez's staff all knowing, then, and of course them cheating on each other's husband and wife, it seems suspicious that all of a sudden it got exposed. It got exposed to the staffers that already knew. Like, I don't get that. Somehow then both the husband of the staffer ended up finding out, but they were already separated. Right? Like, I don't get that. I don't get that. So I have more questions than I do answers. And the congressman immediately decided to basically cut her off and then claim that she was depressed. So you didn't fire her, but you canceled her bookings. She stopped accompanying you on visits. What was she doing for her job? You claimed that she wasn't showing up, but were you even giving her something to do? Like, it seems too convenient for her to then be the own fallout person for this. But that's the information we know as of right now. What do you all think? What do you all think? I have to skedaddle, but I have to get to work. But I doubt that she did this to herself. Recap, please. The live stream is going to be posted here in just a second. But I do have to go. Because I need to get to work. But when the live ends, it's always posted. So I appreciate every single one of you. I love all of you so much. Ilisa, you're incredible. Akicha, Kate, Ellie, Jenny, everyone, Cherie. I cannot do any of this without you all. So I need to skedaddle. I love all of you so much. Yeah, I don't think she did this to herself either. We'll see what happens when more information is revealed. So just remember that you are beautiful, you are loved, you are valid, you are strong, and you are fierce. Don't let anyone or anything ever dim your shine. I love all of you so much. Bye!